Resolution Writing by Eduardo Panayotti and David Berkeley. What exactly is a resolution? A resolution is a document that contains all the issues that the committee wants to solve and also the proposed solutions to that issue. It is called a resolution because that's what the UN calls the document they produce. Technically, the resolution should be called a draft resolution before it is voted upon, and then a resolution after it has successfully been passed during voting blocks. Who writes it? Any delegate in any committee can provide a resolution, although he may need some support. The author of a resolution is called a sponsor. It can be any delegate who wants to draft it, although they need support from other delegates to pass it. Most resolutions have multiple sponsors because it takes a group of countries to share good ideas and to come to a consensus. Some conferences allow delegates to sponsor multiple resolutions for each topic, while others only allow delegates to sponsor one per topic. When do you draft them? Most conferences require students to write resolutions during the conference. Especially, resolutions are usually written during unmoderated caucus, where delegates are free to roam around the committee to collaborate on ideas with each other. Sometimes students work outside in hallways or computer labs as well. Why do you actually draft resolutions? The purpose of the committee is to pass a resolution. All these speeches, debates, negotiations, and teamwork is supposed to all lead up to a resolution, which contains all the proposed solutions to that issue. The resolutions that the majority of the committee agrees upon will be passed during voting blocks, and the sponsors will be informally commended for building consensus on good ideas. Most conferences allow multiple resolutions to pass along as they don't contradict each other, and some merge them. But a few conferences only allow one resolution to pass. Million question. How do you draft resolutions? A resolution is actually really simple to write. It has three main parts: the heading, the preambulatory clauses, and the operative clauses. We will start off with the headers. The headers contain four pieces of information: the committee name, the sponsors, the signatories, and the topic. The order can vary according to the conference's rules. Below, you can see an example of this. The committee name and topic should be self-explanatory. The sponsors are the authors of the resolution. The signatories are other delegates in the committee who do not necessarily agree with the resolution, but would like to see it debated. Most conferences require a minimum number of percentage of sponsors and signatories before a resolution can be presented. Part 2 of a resolution, the preambulatory clauses. These clauses state the reason for which the committee is addressing the topic and highlights the past international action made by the UN. Each clause begins with an underlined present participle called a preambulatory phrase and ends with a comma. These are some of the preambulatory phrases below. So, affirming, alarmed by, approving, bearing in mind, believing, confident, contemplating, convinced, declaring, having examined. These are just some of all the clauses that you can use. And then you can see of the whole phrase of the preambulatory clause. So this is an example that you can see below. That is a great example. And then we head to the operative clauses. Operative clauses offer solutions to the issues addressed earlier in the resolution through the preambulatory section. These clauses include both an underlined verb at the beginning of the sentence followed by a proposed solution. Each clause should follow the following principles. Number 1, the clause should be numbered. Number 2, operative clauses are punctuated by a semicolon, with the exception of your last operative clause, which should end with a period. Number 3, they have to include possible solutions and funding. This is vital, funding, because many times we come up with resolutions but we don't know who's going to fund it. Below you can see some example of the clauses and then of a complete operative clause. These are great examples that can guide you towards a great resolution. And then, the most important thing of all, how to bring it up to the floor. In some cases, a delegate must make a motion to introduce the draft resolution, while in other cases, the sponsors are immediately called upon to read the document. Because these procedures can vary, it is essential to find out about these resolution processes for the conference you plan to attend. The draft resolution must always gain the support of a certain number of member states in the committee before the sponsors may submit it to the committee staff. The staff member will read the draft resolution to ensure that it is relevant and in a proper format. Only when a staff member formally accepts the document and assigns it a number can it be referred to in formal debate. If the resolution has already been passed, then you can amend some things. After a resolution has been passed, delegates wishing to add to the resolution can make these. An amendment is a written statement that adds, deletes, or changes an operative clause in the draft resolution. Remember this, only operative clauses can be edited. This process is used to add and strengthen the resolution with more complex and complete ideas. It can also be used as a tool to comply with other delegates' ideas in order for the committee to agree upon one thing. An amendment can be either friendly or unfriendly. For friendlies, if all sponsors who pass the resolution agree upon a current amendment, it will immediately pass under the chair's discretion. Unfriendly is when some or all of the sponsors do not agree with the idea after it is not agreed upon between sponsors. It must be voted upon by the committee. This is also referred to delegates who are not part of the resolution and would like to make a change. They must make an unfriendly amendment, and it will only pass if the majority of the committee votes upon it. The sponsors of the amendment will need to obtain a required number of signatories in order to introduce it. Also, prior to voting on the draft resolution, the committee votes on all unfriendly amendments. Then we have the works cited. Here are some of the links that we used to create this video. Here are some pictures demonstrating how unmoderated caucus looks like. You can see everyone gathered up, and really this is a mess. This is like war. This is why I put this meme right here on the right. This is what goes on during an unmoderated caucus. Truly, that's what happens, believe me. You have to be a great leader to put order in an unmoderated caucus. Best regards, Eduardo Panayotti and David Berkeley. We hope that you become an expert in resolution writing.